Greetings, beautiful nerds. Welcome back to our Tale of Shadows. This is session 2 of our Vaesen journey through an alternate and very disturbing version of a Belfast, Ireland set in 1943. Last we walked together, you stepped into a city that is kind of going through a little bit of hell right now. There are clear evidence that the Wehrmacht is very much present, as they are an invading force in Belfast, Ireland. Operation Green was successful. This is not the Belfast that we are familiar with. The blackout curtains are stifling every window. They are all, hiding from the many searchlights that are currently going over the city. There are sirens. There are soldiers in the streets. And something older than any war seems to be moving restlessly in the dark. You have seen evidence of it. You have seen creatures. You all have. And you've seen, in some spaces, the cracks of the world widening. When we left off, we had all met in a church where a ritual was performed to ascertain the intentions of a certain Vaesen, a banshee, and why its cry was being heard. And if a banshee is crying, that means that someone is dying. And we learned that a certain young lad by the name of Finn, who the party has befriended, is potentially its next target. This is where we find you all, in the midst of the pews of the church. Father Patrick has brought you in for safekeeping. Nehemiah and Cliff, you guys are enjoying yourselves. I believe you were downstairs when this took place, this ritual. No? Somebody
Nehemiah was a part of the ritual.
Nehemiah was part of the ritual. That's right. Cliff
True,
was, yeah.
You're thinking.
Cliff is downstairs with Finn and Father Patrick playing cards.
Yep, that's right. Drew, you were present. Aoife, you were present. Dove, of course, you were present. You received this information, Dove. You know who the target is. How do you handle that information?
I think I'm still clasping hands with Nehemiah at this moment, as I feel the rush of the ritual just leave, as if it was never there. It's not like a draining, it's just an absence, like being held and then suddenly not remembering what touch feels like. And I look down at Nehemiah's hand, and then I look up into his eyes. This is going to be very sad, I think. And I think there's a very soft squeeze of your hand before she lets it go entirely. And there's a bit of a sway. I think this takes a little bit out of her, but she steadies herself on a pew and steps very gingerly out of the circle that she's drawn and is clearly struggling with something, but I don't think she says what she saw.
Dove, are you okay?
Yes. No. Yes. But not at all. I'm fine. I don't... How young is too young to die, do you think?
Well, why would you say a thing like that?
How old is Finn?
Dove.
I don't think she can make eye contact. She drops her gaze.
You see Nehemiah's shoulders drop when you ask how old is Finn, and he sways a little bit too, but more in like that I need to step away because my body needs to do something to process this information. And he goes, Dev, I know you said this was going to be sad, but through no fault of your own, it's a little understated.
I think if I were If I were a banshee, I would be crying and wailing if I knew it was going to happen to him as well.
Is Finn here with us?
He's downstairs.
He's downstairs with Cliff and the father playing cards.
Yeah.
I think there's an instinctive reaction from Drew. Once it takes him a little moment to the conversation, he's just hearing, these things in the language. He understands it, but still's like trying to make sense of it, and hears Finn's name mentioned, and then finally sort of the pieces come together in his mind, and sees Eva for a moment, and there's just that instinctive reaction of Drew standing up and wanting to go downstairs.
Sure, you're not going to tell him, are you?
Just want to make sure he's all right down there.
Okay. Do we tell him?
Drew is like, he's looking at the group. He doesn't know. He just wants to see. He wants to see the kid. And he wants to make sure that the kid's okay. And if the rest of the group is with the kid, to make sure that they're okay and potentially tell them. But he doesn't have a decision of his own to make about whether he tells them or not.
I think Dove drops down to her knees and her hands are shaking as she starts cleaning up after herself in a bit of a dissociative way, like not really knowing how to contextualize the maybe truth she's just been given. It feels like truth, but if that is true, then it's devastating. And I don't think she knows where to put that or what to do with that information just yet. And so she starts to clean up.
Dove, can I help you in some way? And he squats down, his heels connecting fully with the ground.
Yes.
As he does so.
Yes. Do you tell stories?
Not in a long while.
Could you try? Could you just try to tell me one happy story? It could be quick.
And I'm gonna pause because Rachel looked like she wanted to say something.
I want to interject because my character can tell stories, but I kind of wanted this scene to play out first. When I raise my hand, I'm kind of waiting for the natural whatever.
Sure,
but
I just didn't want you to feel like I was discarding you.
No. I mostly, it's just I have something to say when, yeah.
Nehemiah brings his thumb to the end of his mouth and kind of digs in it a little bit, like he's thinking. And he takes a moment and he thinks, and he says, there was a man, his name was Ezekiel, and he loved himself a ride on the train, and he went from Greene County, Tennessee, all the way up to this place called Indiana, and met his wife there, and they moved to this place called Milwaukee. And he achieved his dream of being able to get people going where they needed to go on the train, both above and below. He fought himself the law in order to be able to vote, and he made it. They let him do it. And they labeled this man a hero. And when he died, they put out a special place just for him, right next to the railroad.
I think Dove has continued to clean while you were talking, but you can tell she's very intently listening. And as you say, right next to the railroad, she puts the final candle back in her bag and almost like an amen says, "The end." That was a good one. Thank you.
Of course.
About Finn? What should we do?
I have a question. Do we know that the wail of a banshee is certain death? It is unavoidable? Or is there something we know we can do about it?
That, I'll say this, and I won't even make anyone roll for this, because I believe we rolled last session to figure out what we knew about banshees. At least as far as you know, there isn't a recorded occurrence of someone being able to avoid a banshee's wail.
Even by delay?
Even by, what was that?
Even by delay? Like delaying the event?
Oh, so you're asking if it means that it's imminent, like it's about to happen.
Yes.
Understood.
Basically, is this going to become the plot of Final Destination?
Whew. I certainly hope not.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. I'll say that you don't know.
Understood.
You don't know that. You don't know whether it's something that is happening like in the next 10 minutes or if it's something that's happening in the next 10 years. All you know is based off of this ritual that Dove has enacted in this church, Finn has something of a mark on him.
Great. Then, with that information, Aoife would pipe up, well, like your story you just told, Nehemiah, is there a way that we could fight to make a change as well?
I would fight for him. I just wouldn't. I would argue there's a point to be made for not telling him, especially if we aim to make it never be so. It would
Agreed.
just. I don't want him to have the nightmares.
To me, it feels like a situation of inevitable damnation, because if we don't tell him and something bad happens, he's going to be upset that we knew something he didn't. And if we do tell him, well, then we are putting the extra ace in his deck, as it were, that he has to fear.
I think Drew is standing right at the edge of where the stairs are, listening to all of this. And his reasoning is not one that is too complex. He just speaks out slowly. So, we fight. Yes?
I think so.
It's the natural conclusion as I can see it.
It's my turn for the grenade next, so I'm in.
Well, I suggest we go downstairs then, yeah?
Yes.
And on that note, we will shift to the basement of this church, where Father Patrick and Finn are playing cards with Cliff. Father Patrick is going to look at Cliff during this. He's just sort of looking very closely at his hand. He's just trying his best against Cliff to have a decent poker face, and is probably not doing that great. But as a way of distracting you, he's going to ask a question. So, Cliff, have you ever thought about returning to the church?
As he is looking and contemplating his poker face failing or whatnot, I think Finn is next to Cliff, and Cliff has his cards like slightly showing over to Finn. A note: he has nothing. There is absolutely nothing that could win in this hand, but he has not shown it at all. And he just like looks over and gives him a wink. And as this question is asked, almost like breaks him out of that. Oh, that's a good one. Work can be done, not in some building. Most can't hear inside these halls anyway. But no judgment. And I think if he has like, they probably have like some coffee powder, maybe like a couple of coins, like I'm gonna say a safety pin. Not much actually in a pot right now. But he pushes everything he has in as he says that.
Oh, that's very interesting. Just, we'd love to have you, just have you be a part of the congregation. I can tell that I feel like you're a wee bit lost.
What makes you say that, Father?
You have, you and your friends, you have the sight. Sometimes I feel like I have a sight of a different kind. You're always welcome.
Words can have a truth to them, Pastor, but that truth isn't universal, and that's okay. I go where I go, which is mostly following that one upstairs and doing what I can, good deeds. Shows Finn the hand again. More so in a way that appears to be like a teaching moment, but really just again showing him that again nothing is there. And I do what I can when I can. Got enough of you running around anyway.
I have a question. Who is in possession of the dossier?
I think it's
Is it-
Aoife.
Me, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Aoife has it. Yeah.
Before the game gets further along, you all make your way downstairs. I'll ask, Cliff, do you happen to notice the sort of the intense vibes of everybody as they enter the room?
I am pretty observant. One would say. I tend to notice things in that regard better than most. So I would say personally, yes, I very clearly can tell that something has shifted since I last seen them upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Oh, I don't know what he does here. I think he looks at Nehemiah to almost a silent what is happening.
Nehemiah is actually the last one down the stairs, unless anyone would like to refute that fact.
If I may, I feel like because Drew had a bit more of a haste to get downstairs and was already by the steps, after Aoife says, "Shall we go downstairs?" Drew is already on his way. So the first person you see, Cliff, is Drew looking at you, sort of like you see him land a look on Finn, offering a smile, then looking at you and the father, and just goes, Dove has information.
Meanwhile, Nehemiah makes eye contact with Cliff for a moment, and then without looking at anyone in particular, in fact, I think he looks downward. He just kind of shakes his head for a moment, and then the eyes kind of draw back up, back at Cliff.
See, there's a common saying: 1 is an accident, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern. Hearing what Drew said, but not knowing context, probably watching Aoife and Dove with similar sorrow, especially Dove, probably. So when it gets to Nehemiah, the silent question is confirmed. Do I ask or?
Dove sits down, if there's room, and just like kind of like hikes her skirts and sits down next to Finn.
He will give you his seat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then I sit next to Finn, and I say, "Deal me in, if you would."
Oh, yeah, sure. Sure, Dove.
You learned aces are high.
Oh.
Right. Aces. Okay. And he looks over at Father Podrick, and he tries to like shuffle the cards, but he's like suddenly sees all of you, and he just sort of looks up to every one of you, in different ways. But it's just like he sees all of you sort of very like looking at him now, and are just like, I don't know what do I do with my hands, and he does his best to shuffle, and then he just very quickly just passes the cards to Father Podrick. Father Podrick he just sort of deals the cards and then, puts them down.
I let them talk because I cannot be involved in that conversation at all.
Yeah. I would say as Cliff gives up his seat. And I want to say it's not like, oh, here, take this seat, ma'am. It's just I think he just realizes, especially, I think he understands that you feel more than most at this point, and easily allows you to take his seat. But as he gets up, his eyes pass Nehemiah and look at Drew and Aoife.
Aoife, I think, just has this awkward face, like trying to smile, like to disregard the bad news, but still like trying to play like and not disregard it, but was like, just not willing exactly to like say it to out in front of Finn. And it's like, oh gosh, the space has been put here to say something, and she's not really sure what to put out, so she's kind of like rocking on her heels, like maybe looking at everyone else like.
I think that Drew, Finn, you want to help me keep watch upstairs? Yes. And offers a hand to Finn.
Finn is suddenly has this intense moment of feeling very torn, mainly because Dove is sitting next to him, and he thinks she's the coolest. But then he also sees Drew, and he's just like, wait, watch, do guard stuff upstairs with Drew? Keep what? He just. Does anyone want to play? I need to. And he just puts his cards down and just immediately runs over to Drew. And I'm assuming you proceed upstairs.
Yeah, I lead him to basically upstairs, not taking him too far from the steps, just making space for the rest of the group to give the information to Cliff and the father.
I was actually going to say, I think Cliff is following.
Okay.
You all stared at him, and now you're taking him away.
Mm-hmm.
If I see you following, Drew will probably give you a gesture of just could you please wait a moment, hoping that there will be at least enough time for the party to inform you of what's happening.
Cliff has a unspoken, but has a respect for Drew in a way. But even in that, for a moment, I think maybe there is a shiver that slowly begins to go down your spine, and perhaps a very, very tiny bit of tunnel vision as Cliff is staring at you with this intense, what is going on look. But that quickly subsides. Okay.
I feel like that. Sorry, if there's that feeling, he feels it in the back of his neck, and he feels his eyes go a little hazy as you do that. But with that questioning that you have in your eyes, his eyes then just slowly shift to Dove, and then back to you, as if trying to communicate. You will learn what's going to happen. And then she sort of stumbles up, still with that feeling of that energy of that you just send his way.
I would just like to interject here that I think as the seat is opened at the table, Aoife has plopped down at it, has pulled the dossier and put it down on the table, and kind of looks back to this interaction and says, actually, Cliff, if we could just have you to talk a little bit about something for just a minute.
Yeah. Watches them walk off for a second, not having the context of it all, and finally turning. And Cliff is typically a kind of laid back, kind of like he's the cool uncle type of energy. And that has definitely shifted to a presence as he slowly walks over.
And with Finn vacated from the space, and now I imagine you're kind of looming over her shoulder. She tentatively, because again, I think our relationship is not that like super, super friendly, so she's kind of being bold in this moment. but very clearly this information is important. She goes, well, we learned something quite interesting regarding Finn, and looks to Dove, looks to Nehemiah. The Banshees, maybe about him.
About
Finn. So we're not exactly sure if we should tell him, and we don't really know if we should.
Father Podrick, immediately interjects. I'm sorry, you said a Banshee's wail?
Yes.
About Finn?
That's what we've learned. Yeah. Yeah, our reaction's very much the same. We're not really sure what to say about it ourselves. It's not funny. I shouldn't be laughing. My idea is that we should do something to protect him.
Well, what's all this then? And he points down at the dossier that you have on the table.
That's for a different moment. Right now, we're kind of dealing with this first, but yeah.
You see Cliff get that news. He doesn't react like one might expect. There's definitely maybe a sadness in his eyes, but if anything, it's a dejected or a dejected. Dare I say defeat? Almost a resolve, a broken resolve as he grabs the wine that he grabbed before, and you see him give it a big chug. Omens. Can't escape them.
No?
Not often.
Okay, so often is a good sign?
I don't know if good is the definer in this moment.
Optimistic?
It's now, or later.
If I may, I touch the dossier and I open it in front of Father Podrick, and I say, have we considered they could be connected?
To this?
You're opening the dossier. So in the dossier there's documents. It's a decently sized dossier, just full of papers and photos, and there's some that is in clearly in German, and then there's others in a language that you don't necessarily know. It looks potentially like some kind of old Norse language, like ancient Norwegian of a sort. And there are glyphs, and
What does she open to?
There's a series of descriptions of different rituals that all are. I will say this: give me a logic, just a straight logic roll.
Dove? Or everyone?
Dove, yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh boy, hot dog. Here we go. I'm not nervous. That'd be crazy. What am I?
And
looking
actually,
at
I will have, because you haven't studied this dossier fully yet, Eva, the pages that she's sort of sifting through, I'd like you to give me the same roll.
Okay, I just need 1 6. Come on, baby. Okay, yeah, that's 4. That's two 1s and a 6.
I got 2 5s.
Unfortunately, just because of Dove's sifting through really quick, you're just trying to figure out individual pieces of what you're seeing, and it doesn't seem to be all making sense. Dove, I will say, as you are sifting through these papers, a lot of the rituals seem to indicate, or a lot of the way the rituals are compiled they're not spoken of in the past tense. They're spoken of in the present, like this is happening. or it is about to happen. In fact, some of what you are seeing, I believe we just said that both of you, or no, Aoife is able to determine, because they're able to sort of see the German. And because of their connection to their dark secret, they are able to sort of like pull bits and pieces out of it. What you are able to glean from it is that there seems to be an SS group called the Ahnenerbe, which seems to indicate some kind of occult division.
You said SS?
Yes.
Meaning boats?
No.
Oh, my bad.
No. The other SS.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about the boat group we discovered last time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
Can you also spell that out eventually when you get a chance? Thank you.
Ahnenerbe.
I was kind of close.
This is a ritual that seems to have something to do with time.
So, may I flavor this to be a little spoopy?
Sure.
Could I spoop it up in here? As I open the dossier, it's more just me like saying maybe they are connected, because it was as we got this information from Aoife that like the ritual sparked, and then we got that information. So maybe they're tied in some way. And as I think that, I feel a very familiar cramping in my hand, my dominant hand. It's almost like a seizing carpal tunnel feeling of like strain. And I, for a moment, lose control of my hand as I point with a hooked finger at a word that I realize can be translated to the present tense. And I start mumbling under my breath like, the way is. The door has. It's not about, it is happening. They're doing it now. I think we're at the wrong time. It's hard to explain. And I kind of like push the dossier forward so everyone can see what I'm like pointing at and looking at in this moment. And I'm showing which like words are being conjugated in like the present tense, and those dots that we had connected before about like these different points where these, I don't know, events were supposed to happen or something. We were getting those points from Aoife's logic deduction last time, and it seems like all of this is currently happening, and I want to relay that to the rest of the group as best as Dove can, which is mostly in riddles.
I'll say that since you guys have spent a decent amount of time with Dove, even with them sort of like speaking haltingly and like not entirely sure of everything, but they're definitely keying in on certain things surrounding the Thompson docks, things that are happening there currently. There seems to be some kind of, it's a mixture, an odd mixture of both military, but also some kind of occult group that is very much connected with the SS. And this is something that has the attention of the Fuhrer.
Okay. Wow. So then we should be getting a move on then.
To the docks.
To what? Well, I suppose. But is this gonna solve our problem with Finn? Don't think so. Hope so.
I don't know. Where's the last? We were looking at those dots. There was like one that wasn't connected yet. Do we know where that is? Is that at the docks?
So it was 4 different sites. 3 had been checked, 1 hadn't, and the 1 was the Thompson docks.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, Dove knows that Finn works down there. Does Finn also live at the docks? Like, is he a dock kid?
Since the invasion took place, Finn's he was a dockyard worker. Like, he would be the guy who he would go in and check all the rivets to make sure that everything was screwed in properly. Unfortunately, he suffered an accident and has only one arm. So he has been sort of like shadowing everyone at the docks, trying to like find odd jobs to do. But since the invasion has happened, he's
Right.
just sort of moving very carefully through that area.
I have a quick question about this real fast because my father and brothers were dock workers. Would I have any information regarding, I don't know, anything?
I'll say you
related
would
to this?
know certain things about the docks themselves. You
Okay.
don't know necessarily. Actually, based off of the documents,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that there are definitely pictures of certain locations.
I see.
You would be able to sort of figure out
Okay,
what might be happening in a certain place.
sure. I think for now I would keep that to myself until it became relevant.
While Dove and Aoife and both kind of explaining the dossier, Cliff hasn't checked out, no, but he's definitely not. It seems like he's not as attentive to that. It does seem like his gaze is on Nehemiah. I would like to intentionally try to read Nehemiah's emotions and see what vibe is coming off of them right now.
I think you've been around Nehemiah long enough to know that he is in planning mode right now. He's thinking about the entrances and exits of the church. He's thinking about, does this mean we've got hours? Does this mean we have days? Does this mean we have months? He's thinking, does he need to stand guard over Finn? Is this something that he can prevent that way? Like, he's like, he's effectively checked out of this conversation, and he's just thinking about like ways he can resolve this.
But more importantly, it does seem like he is all in on protecting Finn.
Oh yeah. The moment Dove said that it was Finn, that's where his brain was at. Is like, how do we stop this?
It sounds like protecting the little one is the priority. So the real question is, how long will you plan to not tell him, if that is your plan? Keying people into their futures isn't easy, I know that. But sometimes it has to be done.
Is this one of those times?
For a moment, his eyes flick over to Nehemiah and then back to the group. Unfortunately, not for me to decide either.
Nehemiah looks up once you say that, and he said, Cliff, I think you know I said my piece on that. So, not to be unhelpful, but we should come to a consensus, and I see pros and cons for both. But if anything, I think we should tell him, because he knows about the whale. And sooner or later, he's going to start asking questions.
Father Podrick is processing all of this as best he can. I'm sorry. So what you're telling me is that there's a Banshee's whale. My dear Finn is potentially in danger. And it is somehow, in some way, connected with what these SS bastards are plotting or doing down at the docks?
Father, with all due respect, those kind of people have always been into that kind of nonsense from my personal experience. So, yes.
I feel like I know a little bit too much in this moment. I have my beliefs, of course, but I can't deny what I've seen. From you all, and from others. All I know is that I feel Finn would be safest within the walls of this church.
I do think it would be good to get him away from the docks for a bit.
What thoughts are going through Aoife's head right now?
I don't know. An exploded church won't save anybody. God can't prevent grenades. After what we just experienced, she's kind of like, I think the best way to protect this kid would to be, I don't know, with us. I don't know. I don't think so. We're about to run into danger, so maybe not. I don't even know if the docks is really the central point to whatever danger that he is about to experience. So would bringing him to the docks, help him, hurt him? Who knows? I just think that Aoife just thinks that if there's any way of making a change, it's going to be dealing with this problem, and it's going to be by trying.
Right then. I feel like we don't know enough about what's going down at the docks to actually make a decision about what Finn or where Finn should be going. I think it might be prudent that he stays here. Like, why would we invite more danger by sending him off with you all?
Question, is Father Podrick responding to that as if Aoife said it out loud?
I'm sorry, I was responding it.
No, that was very much
That
in
was-
her head.
That was all Aoife in
That
her
was
head.
minus an accent. But if she were to no, if Father Podrick were to say, like, specifically look to Aoife and be like, what are you thinking? All of that would lie behind her eyes, and she would probably say what would be closer to that last line that I said. I'm not really sure what we need to do, but whatever it is, it has to be involved in this, and it has to be by trying.
Very well.
I'm going to restate that sooner or later the boy's going to start asking questions, and this is not an ideal situation to be put in, because if we leave him here, he could resent us for that, and if we take him with us, well, he is possibly walking headlong into the destiny that we are so admirably trying to avoid.
Do you care if he likes you or if he lives?
It's not about liking or living, it's about what he wants.
Speaking of he, we're going to shift to Finn and Drew. As this discussion is happening in the basement about should Finn stay or should he go, Drew, what are you thinking in this moment? As you're just sort of keeping an eye, you're just sort of looking out through the front entrance, through a crack in the front entrance of the church, keeping an eye for any movement or danger.
Drew actually doesn't take Finn all the way to like the door. He tries to keep him somewhat close to the group as well, because he knows that the length of a church when facing the things that they face can be a world apart if he needed to get himself back to the group. So instead, he has hunkered down with Finn close to the back of the church, close to where the steps are, with his body facing the entrance and Finn facing him. And at this point, what he has been doing is Drew has worked at the docks, and Finn is someone that they know. And one of the things that Drew has been doing is Drew has been teaching Finn words in Spanish to use for code if needed. And so he has his hand up because he has been making Finn train his arm. So he has Finn punch his palm as he rhythmically goes, cuidado, and strikes, caution, strikes. And then
Cuidado?
Caution.
Caution?
And then he says, ayuda,
Ayuda?
help,
Help?
peligro,
Peligro?
danger,
Danger?
agua,
Agua?
water.
Water?
Good.
Wait,
And then
I know that one. You told me that one last time.
I did, but now ancestros,
Ancestros.
cuídenme,
Cuídenme.
ancestors protect me.
Ancestors protect me.
If you ever feel you're in danger and we're not around and things feel dark, you always remember people antes before you. They're there with you here. Ancestros,
Ancestros,
cuídenme.
cuídenme.
And then he gently sort of like punches his shoulder. Huh?
This interaction continues, just sort of the gentle sort of practice sparring. What do you think they're talking about downstairs?
His eyes, he raises his hands to have Finn distracted so he can strike both hands. His eyes now looking at the door again. Danger?
Danger down at the docks?
You ask? The docks?
I just saw a bunch of pictures in the thing, and they were just pictures of the docks with all the weird circles around it.
Maybe danger at the docks. We have to be careful, yes? I think Drew kind of sort of switches between looking at Finn and looking at the door. And honestly, part of Drew is just imagining the door of the church just blasting open and this banshee, this creature, just being there. And in his mind, he is just ready to charge. Like, to him is this concept of, I don't know how many hits I need to take so that I can remain standing and make sure that this thing doesn't get to him. But I sure am ready to try.
Drew, are you and Cliff and Nehemiah and Dove and Aoife, are you going to be sticking around, or are you leaving?
Where would we leave?
I don't know. I feel like the world's a little bit weird right now, and
Drew thinks about his own history. I think wherever we go, we will go because we must.
on the word must, Drew, I need you to give me a vigilance check.
Got one success.
As you are having this conversation and as you say those words, suddenly there are the sounds. You hear in the distance the sounds of orders being screamed in German. They're at least a block away.
Immediately, Drew crouches. Hands are on Finn's shoulders to make sure that he goes down with him. Makes a gesture of being quiet. And then just gestures, peligro. Tell the others. And so he's going to gesture for Finn to go downstairs to let the rest of the group know, while he's going to stay on the top floor, keeping himself maybe behind a pew or podium or some altar or whatever there may be. Did we establish whether or not there's a different exit? There's a back exit to this?
There is a back exit to this.
There is a
place,
back exit.
that Cliff
Okay.
has used, yes.
Great. So, yeah, so in that case, yeah, I'm not going to go to the front door. I'm just going to be concealed in some area, like somewhere in the middle of the main floor between the stairs and the back exit, and like the area where the altar will probably be.
And you're sending Finn back down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you hear, as Finn is leaving, you hear cries of "Schon sich diese begaden," and you don't know what that means, but they are yelling it repeatedly, and then you hear, hold on, "Schon sie sich die Kirche an." You hear both of those phrases. You hear the first one several times, and then this new one you hear with the sound of boots getting closer.
Do I hear these boots getting closer, as in, like, I feel like these boots are getting closer to the entrance?
I said that they're a block away, so the voices are getting closer. They are not at the entrance yet.
How close is the closest pew or decisions? Yeah, I think I'm going to stay still concealed, waiting for Finn to let everybody else know. I don't want to make the church look suspicious unless I have to. So I'm not going to touch anything or try to block the door or anything like that. I just want to see if the party can get out before these people come in. If they happen to come inside and they seem to be getting close, things will change.
Finn comes down the stairs. You see him come down. His eyes sort of looking frantically. He looks at all of you and says, Father Patrick, there's soldiers. They're coming.
Okay.
Drew is upstairs.
Time to move.
He sent me back down.
I turn to Nehemiah.
Nehemiah is not where he just was. Like, you turn and it's like the outline is like boop, boop, boop. Like, he's not there. Like, he's like 3 steps away from Finn at this point.
I need everyone to give me a vigilance check.
Okay.
Can I use Eagle Eye for this? Because I was not involved with what was going on upstairs.
When trying to interpret a situation you are observing and are not involved in.
That is no successes from me.
3 successes
I'll allow it.
from me.
Ooh, let's go, Eva. Hey,
One success.
cousin.
Cliff, okay. Aoife,
I got a 6. I would also like to say that I am immediately picking up all of the papers off of the table, closing them into the file, and packing them away.
okay. Not only that, but you are also hearing the yells from soldiers near the church. And what you are hearing is repeated cries of, search that building. Search the church.
In English?
No, in German. You're understanding the German, which is something that Drew is not capable of.
Now, question is that I cannot interpret languages. I can write them. No. Remember,
I'm saying
automatic
you can't?
writing. Oh, you're telling me I can. Wonderful. Okay, great.
No.
Thank you.
I'm saying Aoife can't.
No, Aoife can't. Okay. I'm confused.
He's asking,
Yes.
can Aoife understand German?
No. I'm saying
No,
Aoife
actually,
just-
that's not what I'm asking.
No, he's telling me Aoife can? Aoife, yes?
In this moment, for whatever reason, maybe it's your connection to a certain thing that is allowing you to hear
Hand
these
language
words.
unlocked in my brain? That's crazy. Understood. Moving
Okay,
forward.
that makes more sense.
And in which case, I think too, like, again, we're swiping up the papers and it's like, oh my gosh, they're coming in the church. And like, it's like packing up the bag. Excuse me, let's say that again. Oh my God, they're coming in the church. And I start packing up the stuff further and faster and putting them away.
Andy, that's an 8, by the way.
You got 8?
6 plus 2. 6 plus 2.
I don't think we add. It's just... It's
you
not-
know,
I know
Nehemiah?
but I just thought it was funny that I was like, let me try and finagle this. And it was like, it's a 6 anyway.
So, you know, in this moment, they're 50 feet away from the front entrance.
Cool. I'm going to perhaps read the situation context-wise and go, Finn is here, Drew is not. Drew must be doing something because he was obviously the one that was sent down here. And I'm going to try and get everybody to the back exit.
So you're going up the stairs to where Drew is because the back exit is actually upstairs.
Mm-hmm. That was my thought process.
Yeah,
Okay.
pass him.
Is that so? I basically whip around and I just like put my finger over my mouth and then I do this like quiet, let's move.
Cliff turns to the father. What are you going to do? Are you coming with us or are you staying?
My place is here. I'll cover for you all. I haven't seen anything. So, please, get the lad away from here.
Bless you, Father.
Funny that Aoife said that, because you see Cliff doesn't show a lot of attachment. If anything, he's shown that slightly towards Nehemiah more than anything. You see Cliff's hand go on to the father's shoulder for a moment and then slide down to his hand to give him a handshake, a very firm one. And in that same breath, he also says, "Bless you, Father." And he turns wordlessly and walks away, but there is a small, like, effigy or like a small little statuette suddenly in the father's hand. As I give him a blessing.
Love. I love how everyone's going to say something to the father before we leave.
The father,
I'm up the stairs.
from his perspective, a statuette appears in his hand. What does it look like?
It literally looks like maybe a marble or like metal, like someone like took bits of metal and banged it into a shape. And the more you look like it, it almost looks like it could be a paw print.
He has this statuette metal paw print that, is this something that you have made?
You don't know. It just seemingly appeared in his hand.
Understood.
He did not say anything about it.
As he takes this from you, it's so interesting that Final Destination was mentioned earlier. As he takes this from you, there is a flash of horror that suddenly crosses his face, and a flurry of emotion, confusion, and then resignation.
He is still turned away. He knows what has happened, but he has not said anything to him. He walks following Nehemiah.
And I am probably the last one getting up the stairs. And I just pat Father Podrick on the back because I misinterpret at this moment. I think he's looking horrified because of the horrors that are coming up to the door. So I'm just trying to reassure him as we're leaving, and I pat him on the back. I have no idea what Cliff has given him. And I say, "Don't worry, Father. It'll be fine. I always keep my crucifix in my pocket, just like you taught us."
God go with you, my child.
Oh, I guess it is for... Yeah, I've never thought of it that way. Okay, bye, Father. Love you. And she'll blow him a kiss and, rush out the door.
Okay.
Up the stairs.
You all make it up to the top of the stairs. Drew, you are behind the altar, sort of looking at the door, and you're just, as they come up the stairs, what do? You see Aoife first. And she's, actually, it's Aoife and then Quinn, and then Nehemiah, then Cliff, and then Dove.
Who's Quinn?
Quinn?
Finn. My bad.
I was like, is there a ghost in here? Hold on.
Another Irish name.
Not the ghost of Finn, that's for sure. Not on our watch.
That's funny.
Yes, Finn.
That's you, Drew.
Drew, where are you?
Are we out?
No, I'm asking, what do you do as you see them?
So they walk through the front door.
No, the your friends coming up
Sorry.
from the basement.
I blanked out completely. At this point, by the time that they are coming up from the basement, have I been able to keep track of how close these people are now to the church?
You're more so feeling like the pumping of adrenaline because you're like,
Mhm.
Where are my friends? Where are my friends? Why aren't they not here? We need to get the fuck out of here. And then you hear them getting closer. You're not able to determine because you can't see any of them. So you're not sure exactly how close. The only person who knows or has a general idea of how close they are is Nehemiah. And Nehemiah, based off of your role, they are within 30 feet of the front door of the church.
So what is the requirement of movement for us from the steps coming to the main floor to get to the back door? Like, is it the kind of thing where like the steps come up and then the door is there? Is there like a room or alley that we go in the back of the church that we walk through and then get to the door? Like, I just want to know how direct is the coming up the steps and if they open the front door and we're like on the back when we see each other.
So the way it is, there's the altar at the front or at the back of the church. There is an entryway off to the left, which is where they are coming from. And then on the opposite side, on the right-hand side, there is a hallway that leads to the rear entrance of the church.
I think the moment that he sees them, he's just keeping an eye. He's basically between like looking at the front door, hearing the steps, keeping an eye peripheral of the group and the steps. As he sees them, probably gestures for them to stay low and just sort of gestures them, trying to rush them to like usher them to go to the hallway to the exit.
All right. Does everyone move there?
Yeah, I would like to take no time hanging out in this place. I would like to go right towards that door.
Okay.
I'm outside even.
Aoife,
I've hiked
you're
my
the
skirts.
first one. You make a beeline past Drew as he's sort of motioning everyone, get out, get out.
I'm like, you too.
Finn is
time to go.
right behind you. He's sort of like grabbed onto the back of your jacket, Aoife, as you are making your way down the hallway out the back.
I'm going to be real. I think, is Dove after Cliff?
Dove is no Cliff. It goes Cliff and then Dove because Dove said that she was saying
Is
goodbye.
it Dove after Cliff? Yeah.
Mhm.
So Cliff will come up, intentionally make sure Dove is behind. It's got it behind, and then pushes her forward.
Okay.
And with that understanding as well, Drew, he's going to push you out before he goes.
The father has actually made his way up to the altar area. You all make your way out of the out the doors. The door slams behind you.
I mean it, bitte.
Ooh.
Cliff tries to push me
I do.
ahead of themselves.
I do.
I would like for Drew to attempt as Cliff is pushing. Drew wants to clasp, so he drags Cliff with him in that direction.
Does just because this potentially leads to PvP, does Cliff consent to this player v player moment?
Absolutely. I want to understand that Cliff is definitely going, but not letting Drew try to be the last one out the door.
Okay, if that's the vibe, then it's fine. I think it was more the idea of like if it's just like trying to do that, like push and then stay, is like Drew will clasp.
Save yourself.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah.
Cliff doesn't look like he's staying.
Okay.
Cliff absolutely is just like,
Perfect.
all right, everyone else out. Thank you for doing your job to protect them. Now let me do my job protecting you. Go.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll take it as the typical like clearing the room, getting the tap on the shoulder of like we're good to go. Cool.
Yep.
And Andy, I don't. Nehemiah does not let that door slam under no circumstances. Like he just like sticks his foot in and then like lets it close real quiet.
Yeah, nice try, GM. You're not getting us with that
Whoa. I will say, I need you to give me, Nehemiah, I need you to give me an agility check. I'm going to make you pay for it.
That's fine.
Ride it and
I
rest
don't
it.
have that's physique. So okay, all right. It's a 3 and a 6.
Got it. That's all you need. Only is one.
Yeah, so like I said, nice try.
Okay. Nehemiah, as this sort of, not really kerfuffle, but this sort of like, no, you go, happens between Drew and Cliff, and they both eventually make it out the back door. You see the door sort of get pushed open hard, and then you see it coming right back. And in your strategic mind, you sort of like trying to think like 3-4 steps ahead, you realize you need absolute silence. There can't be any clues as to where you're going or what your whereabouts are. And it's one of those slow motion scenes in the movies where you sort of push past Drew and Cliff, and you slide your fingers just into the crack of the door as it sort of slams against the door jamb. And you feel a moment like a sharp pain, but it is fleeting, and the door does not slam. There is absolutely no sound as you grab the knob, pull your fingers out, and close the door.
Not even bones cracking. What a win.
Okay. I'm going to consult the map that we have in the Vaesen channel.
Map.
The Thompson Docks, they are to the south and east of where you are. They are also, there's a clear diagram in the dossier that you collected of this ritual and sort of the diagrams of the different points of this ritual. In terms of like understanding it just as players, think of it like, have we all seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? Okay. In that anime, there is a ritual that takes place that is sort of across a vast space that is all sort of centered on a point. And you see that there is one single point that has not been completed. And it is dead center within the Thompson Docks.
So you said the Thompson Docks are where on the map?
The Thompson Docks are, so if you're looking at the map, you are, so it's kind of difficult to see, but where you are, there's the Dockward East electoral area, and you're on one side of the Logan River, and you are headed towards the area known as the Abercorn Basin.
I was just there. Okay.
Just past there, in the midst of sort of the engineering works in the North Yard.
Gotcha. Thanks.
At this point, the doors shut quietly. Finn just says, follow me. I can find a very secretive way of getting us where we need to go. Or getting us someplace safe.
I'm already following him.
Is everyone else, do I know, because I know this group, we know each other, do I know of anyone who's particularly unstealthy?
Define particular.
I'll say,
okay, so it's
everybody divulge your stealth skill to Dove.
Okay, a 3, okay, a 5, okay.
I'm 5.
Aoife is extremely stealthy.
But you don't have to fear.
Okay. I trust you.
Technically, I'm rolling 4 die because I am pretty precise.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm 5.
Okay. Then I'm going to hear that we need to be extremely quiet, and there's just going to be a very slow, like, side eye as my gaze goes over to Nehemiah. And I'm going to nod at Finn, but I'm not going to move forward until everyone else moves forward. And I want to spend whatever you deem fit necessary as we move forward in the scene in order to make sure Nehemiah is stealthy. I have a very Dove way of doing this. There are no mechanical moves that I have, but I want to try my best to make sure that Nehemiah is as quiet as possible. Mostly the heel of his boot, which I always hear. I can hear his footsteps from a mile away if he puts his back foot on the ground.
So to start off, since we all know that we need to be quiet, I would like everyone to roll those stealth checks.
Oh, man.
And I have a feeling in this moment, the way you're describing it, that like Dove reaches out and like takes like Nehemiah's shoulder and just does the like, you need to be quiet.
I point down at my feet and I go up on my like the like balls of my feet to get up there. Not quite tippy toe, but I'm like, don't put your heel
trying
down.
to get eye level.
Yeah.
You know what, Meadow? I'm gonna let you take credit for this, but it's a 6.
I got
That's a
one as
6.
well.
There we go. Okay.
That's a six.
You got three
Three
sixes?
I rolled
Oh
all
my
sixes.
God.
Got 2.
I got
Got
you.
2
I
6s.
got you.
Eva, what'd you get?
That's so
it's
funny.
just the numbers on the die, right?
You just need a 6 of other dice that you roll.
You need
yes.
a 6 to succeed, but then you are rolling the number in the skills area of your stealth.
Yeah.
Is the number of die you roll.
Yeah, right. Because it's the skill modifier plus whatever the
Yes.
skill is. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, I got no 6s, but I did get a 5.
So yeah, you don't add up anything. You just if you're just looking for 6s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they had nothing.
Okay.
No
Hey, guess
6s.
what?
Alright.
Same.
Love it.
'Kay.
I'm really
You
stealthy, I
all-
swear.
Finn begins to lead you all down an alley that goes as like a couple houses in from the church.
Hey, Game Master.
and-
I don't like cutting Game Masters off, but I have to because I pushed
You pushed. Okay.
and still failed. So what condition I get?
In this instance, I think it's going to be
Now we haven't cleared any conditions from before, correct?
no, I'm going to say because of the amount of rest
Okay.
and sort of the safety that you guys felt within the church, I will say that you were able to clear some because none of you had more than 2.
No.
So yeah, I'll say you were able to. I believe some people suffered from the exhaustion condition. So so we'll say that's nullified at this point. But I will say that you gain it back.
Yeah, that's right.
Andy, is there any way, knowing the relationship that Drew has with Aoife, that he can help or keep an eye on them to help with the stealth?
You want to watch me fall?
I'd like to for you not to.
Okay, I would.
You watch Aoife.
Unless Aoife would like to push in this moment to figure out a way to maintain stealth, I will say that Drew, if Aoife will allow, if you're sort of like helping physically, like move her or guide her like through the tight spaces and sort of the dark alleys, I'll say I'll allow Aoife a chance to reroll 2 of her dice.
Yeah, do that for free.
Since
Thanks.
Drew is providing an advantage in this moment.
No, I'm sorry.
No. Okay.
5s. Lots of 5s. So
Perfect.
close. Not enough.
Okay. So, as you are making your way through the alleys, you are only about half a block away from the church. And there is a sudden eruption of gunfire echoing from the church.
Before I respond, mechanically, my blessing gave him 2 extra die to whatever they needed to do.
Mhm.
But with that being said, do I think I know what just happened?
No, you have no idea. You don't know if you were successful. Well, you know that you blessed him. You gave him a blessing.
So what I'm saying is, I don't know the success, but do I the thing that was given probably in some way, shape, or form just went down. Okay.
Perhaps.
We have no
That is
idea.
fair,
Maybe
that
the
is fair.
priest
Because
opened
mechanically,
fire.
I don't think it's not established as to whether you know how the blessing takes effect.
Yeah, I don't think I know the outcome,
Yeah.
but I might know the lead up.
Okay. I will say, briefly put a camera inside the church. Father Patrick stands at the altar, just behind the altar. And the SS, as it is clearly shown on their insignias and on all of their sort of identifying markers of the uniforms, storm through the front entrance, immediately start questioning in broken English, just, where is it? Where is it? Where's the file? Father Patrick just stands behind the altar, clutching the omen that you have given him in his fist. And he puts it down on the top of the altar. And he looks at this, looks to be like a captain and four of his guards or soldiers. And he just looks at them and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, laddie, you just missed him." And he reaches underneath the altar, pulls out a submachine gun, and just wastes every single one of them.
I said what I said.
He slams the gun down, looks over them, making sure that they have all died, and looks up at the sky and says, "Sweet Jesus, forgive me." And that is all that we see of that moment. And on that note, we will take a break. As you hear the gunfire echoing from the church, you hear the echo in the alley. If you could, perhaps you would go back. But with Finn being with you, it is way too fraught of a situation, and you know that you don't have much time, or at least you actually don't know that. You have no idea how much time you have, and that actually is the most terrifying thing. Because it's a clock ticking somewhere where you're not. And as you are hurriedly making your way through this alley, Finn reaches up to Drew and pulls on your sleeve. It's like, I have a secret way that I can get us closer to the docks.
Take us.
As you are making your way, and this alley opens up into one of the side streets, and right across the way there is another alley, and there is suddenly a searchlight that pans along the street in front of you. Not into the alley where you are, just across the street that you potentially have to cross. I need everyone to give me a stealth check.
I just did that.
Did-
Please.
Does that include the results of the stealth check we rolled?
No, it does not. That was just to get out of the church.
Oh,
I rolled a straight 4, 5, 6.
That's kind of cool. Could I do a thing first? As we get out and seeing the door slam and the pain that Nehemiah's not showing, but probably is in some way, shape, or form, I think for a moment it's as if he looks over his shoulder. I don't know which one of you is here, but give me and my friends a hand. I don't need friends. Give me and these folks some chance. I'm going to use my well-traveled ability in the way that we have shifted it, which means I'm going to roll a d.
Okay.
I love when the dice tell the story. It is 3, which means...
Which, are you designating someone, or are you taking it for
3
yourself?
is designated. The 1 through 6 has a designation.
Okay.
I'll read closer.
Who are you designating it to?
Oh, I see.
Or are you going to hold on to it yourself?
we're all missing something, right? Like we don't know. We don't know what these.
This is a part of his dark secret, so yeah, you don't know.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Then I'm just gonna wait.
I think because Nehemiah cares about Finn, he gives it to Finn.
Okay. All right.
Because that's the charge right now for Nehemiah.
Okay. Cliff, doesn't happen often, but in a flurry of quick thinking and you accessing this spiritual charge, you hear Alonzo's voice. And it is a voice of sort of like adventurous, like, what are we doing here? Who we helping?
The kid.
Sounds good to me.
Which will mean he could add 1 die to the next precision roll that he is making, which is the stealth check.
Okay. I need everyone to give me their stealth rolls. Again.
We don't need him failing.
You had 1 success, Drew?
I have
Big
2
ol'
successes,
goose egg.
and I would like for my second success, if possible, to go to like helping someone else keep as stealthy as I am. It doesn't really matter to me who I'm closest to Nehemiah, but once I've gotten him past, I want to make a general lookout for the group.
Thank you, Cliff. I was like 2, 5, 3, 6.
I'm stressed. You gotta be caring about a kid.
Dove, you are giving this advantage. I will allow Aoife to re-roll her stealth.
Oh,
This is a 6.
Oh, okay.
This is a 6.
I swear.
It's a
There weren't
6.
even any 5s on that one, so
It's okay. This is a 6.
it is a 6.
You got it.
Very cool.
As you all come to the very edge of the alley and you see this massive searchlight beam just sort of go across the street, and you have to get to that other alley. Finn just sort of is holding at your arm, Cliff, and he's looking over. All right, go! And you all dash across the street just as the searchlight is swinging back, and it barely misses you. But you all are able to make your way, and you're sort of, through this alley very quickly, but it terminates at the very end of it. There is a sewer grate, and Finn looks at you all, heedless seemingly of the danger, and looks at you and he says, "Okay, now we need to get a little bit stinky." And
I'm sorry, you said what?
He begins to move, struggles with the sewer grate a little bit.
I help him.
Drew would help him.
Okay, you guys help him move the sewer grate, and you guys haul it off, and it is a sewer entrance that goes down beneath the streets.
Aoife would look on disgusted.
I'll go down first, and I'm gonna take a look around to make sure no one's already down there. Dove does not care about filth. Dove is all about the filth, and is gonna make sure it's safe. She doesn't want Finn going down first, so she'll go down first, do a quick check, and then give like a bird whistle, like a coo, like a little pigeon to let everyone know that it's safe to come down.
Okay. Finn makes as if he's about to go, and then Dove, you just and you make your way down. You hear the sound of the water dripping, and there's a tiny little rivulet of water and other things that is moving through the sewer at sort of this very languid, smelly pace. It's thick. There is a metallic tang of rust. There is a whiff of stale, sort of brackish seawater that is sort of mixing with, I don't know why I'm being overly descriptive. It's disgusting. It's gross. Like, nobody wants to be down here, but you know what? Better here than up there.
I'm sorry, you want me to go down there?
Drew is just looking at you.
There are grosser things, including your inside and the outside. Get down.
You all make your way down into the sewers. Is anybody doing anything? Oh, okay. Drew is immediately moving.
We gotta talk, buddy.
I got you, Bo. I got you.
We gotta talk, buddy.
He moves the sewer grate back in place, obscuring the path that you have taken. You guys make your way down. There is the tunnel moves past this ladder that you use to get down to the bottom. It is moving in a east and west direction. And there is just very quickly, there is a distinct chance that this does lead to the ocean.
As soon as we get into like a bit of a stable place, Nehemiah is going to pull this handkerchief that he keeps on like the inside of his shirt that's dry before it gets wet, and he's going to hand it to Dove, and he's going to like go like this, like covering the mouth or the nose area and mouth area.
I wish you had not given this to the most unserious paranormal investigator on the planet.
Yeah.
But Dove folds it in half and is going to tie it around her face, like kind of like a bandolero, like a very old school outlaw, and looks at you and nods as if she's like got the idea, and then she puts up finger guns and she starts heading down the sewer. Does it sound like there is moving water in here? And that's why we think, okay.
Yeah.
She'll whisper to Nehemiah, "It's like we're in a seashell, don't you think? You can hear the ocean in here. Your silence says otherwise. I'll take the lead." And she's gonna, start scooting down the sewer pathway.
Excellent. I'm assuming you guys are all heading east.
I mean, we're following the kiddo, right? Like, he's the one who...
So, yeah, he's moving in the easterly direction. He's sort of motioning to Dove and everyone behind him. This will get us to the other side of the river and towards the Thompson docks. That is where we're going, right?
Hopefully. Yes, it's the only location in the dossier that didn't have a mark of completion around it. I think it's our best shot.
As Finn is listening to you, suddenly his ears, his face perks up, and he's like looking around.
What is it, boy?
Does anyone hear that sound?
Hear what?
It's the sound I heard before a couple days ago.
I'm going to wrap, if he doesn't pull away, of course, very gently, I'm going to wrap my hand like over his ear and then pull the other side of his head into me, as if I'm just trying to keep him close instead of letting him like fall into the sewer proper, like where the rushing water part is, because I think I know what he's hearing, and I don't want him to hear that, and we haven't talked about that yet. We're just gonna keep him close and comforted, and now her head is on a full swivel. That, jovial spark of whimsy from getting the handkerchief and the finger guns is completely gone.
What are you... Stop, what are you doing?
It's fine, it's fine. You're fine. It's fine. Just stay quiet, and let's keep walking. Yes? Quiet.
Okay. All right. And you all proceed deeper into the darkness. There are definitely some hints of light as you cross and you pass by certain ladders that lead up to the surface. But you guys are making good time down beneath the ground in these sewers. There is just as you're looking around and sort of like touching the walls of the sewer, everything is just cold and damp. All of the metal railings, there's just condensation. There's the sort of the nip of the cold air around you. Occasionally, you will feel like the slightest of vibrations in the ground as you hear like vehicles moving above. There is the distinct sound of the heavy sound of tank tracks moving on the streets above.
There's a quietness that always comes from Cliff, but in a weird parallel. This all feels very familiar to Cliff, and he just keeps his eye on the group, keeping up the rear, potentially walking next to Drew, because Drew also wants to be the last one, but jokingly, he is very perceptive and is watching for this group from the back. But each time, almost like a broken record, his gaze lingers on Nehemiah longer than it does anyone else before the cycle continues, and he's just keeping them in his eyes.
If Drew would take a handkerchief rag out of his pocket and would hand it to you. This handkerchief actually has the scent of vinegar. It is something that he uses when he works at the docks or needs to work at the sewers to help with the smell. And it's not fresh, so it's not going to be super strong, but it might help if she were to cover her face with it.
Yeah, I mean, did that happen as soon as we went down into the sewers?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
he saw your reaction and reluctance. He would have been ready to hand that because he's used to. That's almost a reflex for him.
Yeah.
And I think he's, as per usual, keeping an eye on you, but I think he's also very close to wherever Finn is in the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And Aoife has her handkerchief now pressed to her face this entire time.
Understood. As you are sort of taking in all of this sensory information, the smells, the vibrations, the feeling of the walls of the sewer, I need everybody, actually, who's the person who is in front with Finn? That would be Dove. Dove, I need you to give me a vigilance check. Nope. Okay.
Can I push it?
Real good.
Push it. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. If you would like.
I would like. You know what? Finn is really important to me. I think I would in this moment. There she goes off the table. Sorry. Let me tone down the demonic glee that just came across my face, and I'll just let you know, if you couldn't guess, I got 1-6.
There you go. As you are making your way through the sewers, and you're with Finn, and then there's Drew, who's very close behind with Aoife. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Cliff is after Aoife, and then Nehemiah is sort of bringing up the rear at this point. And as the sounds of the water moving begin to get a little bit louder, Dove, you are looking down the tunnel, and you suddenly see this shadow suddenly skitter across as you appear to be coming to somewhat of a T-junction in the sewer.
Think Finn would feel like a flinching squeeze, as if trying to protect him from whatever it was I saw. And as that kind of releases over my shoulder and back towards the rest of the group, I say, we're not alone down here. I do believe there's something not quite walking on two legs with us.
As you say this, Finn actually is does a little squeal of glee, and he charges ahead.
Finn, what are you doing?
I am already after Finn.
There is a supernatural speed in which Cliff has also ran.
From this pushing, I'm just letting you know above table, I'm choosing frightened because seeing a little like skittering thing seems to be the most in line.
Okay.
Why would you make us have kids?
I just
Because whether you have them or not, you still care.
Go ahead, Eva.
Yeah.
I just want to say that as everyone, Nehemiah is also rushing ahead. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, everyone is rushed ahead. Aoife has not.
Okay.
Aoife is back, not just because, like, not for any, like, not because she doesn't care, is what I'm trying to say. Aoife doesn't rush forward, not because she doesn't care, but because it's like everything is moving so fast that I think they just kind of, like, almost like disappear into the darkness ahead of her as she's so overwhelmed with this like handkerchief blocking part of her vision because she really just doesn't want to breathe what's down here and gets like slightly left behind and is like going to try and catch up.
As you see your friends move forward into the darkness, you guys, the ones in the front, you see Finn like charging forward, and he's like, "Hey, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, everyone, just don't run forward too quickly. You don't want to scare him."
Say more.
I'll start doing this.
Drew.
When Aoife says guys, Nehemiah stops on a dime. Like, just like.
Really quickly, before we continue, I know that we have been together, but how frequent now have our missions been in dealing with Vaesen? Like, are we at that point where we're equipped, or is it still like jump scares, frights, like these are still monstrous things? Like, how comfortable should this group be?
So I would say you have encountered Vaesen before individually, but only a handful of times as a group. And the reason for that is that you are still waiting to get your accreditation from the other and recognized by the other societies before you are fully accredited Vaesen hunters.
I think, if you allow me, someone can try to stop me 100%. I think in the way that Cliff moves, I use supernaturally for a reason, because it is extremely suddenly fast. And I would like to try to get him in front of Finn as well, to stop the party.
Okay, you do that.
And as he gets to the front, there is a deepness to his voice. Who is that?
Oh, okay, Cliff, you scared me. I'm sorry, you don't have to worry. It's just Hollow Tom.
Nothing is ever
I'm sorry,
just.
he's my friend. He's my friend. He looks a wee bit nasty, but he's very nice when you get to know him.
We are dealing with delicate things, child. You can't
but it's just
rush off.
I'm sorry about that, but it is just Tom. He's right there. And he points into the darkness, and at this point, you suddenly see two golden eyes, these giant eyes, just suddenly appear like lanterns in the dark. And suddenly striding out, like this is the way you can imagine, is like there's a ladder, and there's sort of the light coming from the grate, and then suddenly stepping out of the shadows into that light, you see this gentleman.
Oh, buddy.
This gentleman, and you do know that they definitely have a little bit of a gathering, a little bit of a society that exists within the sewers. This is a creature known as a knocker.
What do we know about this knocker?
So you know that knockers, they stand about 18 inches tall. They look like human miners with oversized heads.
Oh, buddy.
They usually inhabit mines, but they tend to go into the very low, small areas.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been known to knock on the walls to scare humans. Knockers, they're not hostile by any means, but they have been known to pilfer food or move tools. In fact, if you, like a lot of the times when you can't find your keys, it's because a knocker moved them. And so they're kind of just very mischievous miscreants of sort of a fey origin. They are very strong for their size, though, and they can outwork a real human miner very easily. but you see this knocker, and he immediately comes forward and he's like,
Oi, Finn. So glad you're okay, lad. Who are your friends?
"Oh, this is Miss Dove, Miss Aoife. This is Master Drew and Master Nehemiah, and this is Cliff."
Guys!
I don't get a master? Wow.
Drew is
I want one, but
Yeah, Nehemiah, anyone looking at Nehemiah, he visibly cringes when he says Master Nehemiah. Not a fan.
Oh, sorry, Mister.
I think Drew hearing Aoife, now that it seems like situation is not immediately hostile, make sure to turn around and go back and make sure that Aoife is catching up and not going who knows where.
Yeah, thanks, Finn, for gesturing to me, and I'm not even standing there.
Well, that's because he's looking at Cliff. He's just sort of like gesturing behind him, but he's looking at Cliff because Cliff is very imposing as he's sort of put himself between the party and whatever this creature is.
Aoife will remember this. Wanders through the dark. I heard my name!
We came into it, the telltale reference has struck Vaesen.
oh my gosh. Cliff's just seeing who it is, what they are, seeing that there's not a problem to be had. Also very stressed for many different reasons. Wine, mouth, walking to the back of the group.
That leaves me still there with like a hand on Finn's shoulder.
So, Finn, what brings you down into this here darkness?
Well, we were trying to escape the soldiers.
Yeah, bad business with them, with the big uns. You're not heading down into the docks, are you?
Would that be bad if we were?
I speak inside so that Finn can't get out the yes first, just to see if we can get any information we might need.
You see him sort of flex his jaw, like he's thinking about something.
I will give you your answer for a gift.
And he holds out 2 hands to anybody who will supply him with a gift.
I will supply him with the gift immediately, as if I wasn't already gonna. I think I kneel down, get on one knee, and I open my bag, and I take this very seriously. I reach into my bag, and I find a few things that I think could interest Hollow Tom, but I want to know what Hollow Tom wants the most. So I ask, Tom, Hollow, Mr. What do you eat down here? If you don't mind, if it's not a rude question to ask.
It's not rude. Why do you want to know?
Because I have this tiny cooking pot, you see, and
His eyes go wide.
She pulls out of her bag. She calls it a cooking pot, but it looks like a straight-up mini cauldron, and she's holding it. It's very heavy, full cast iron, and she goes, I have 2 others at my flat. I'd be happy to...
Oh, so that means you have one to spare.
Of course. She doesn't. This is a lie. As she hands it over.
He immediately takes the cauldron and puts it on his head. And is wearing it as like a helmet, much
Bravo!
like all of us did when we were sort of like playing nights in our parents' kitchen. We all did this.
All of us. I was there.
Yes.
He puts it on his head, and he's trying as this knocker is wont to do. He sort of strikes a dashing pose.
How do I look?
Striking.
Okay.
And then his face immediately goes from like gratitude and thankfulness and awe at this gift that you've given him, and suddenly springs into very serious.
Finn, there's bad business afoot up top, especially in the docks. They've taken a lot of me kinfolk. They're using them vile purposes, just horrible experiments, and I've only managed to escape myself. Very, very close call. But they're using Vaesen. There's there's a doctor and there's another. Everyone else calls him Colonel. But he's an evil man. He keeps claiming about the threads of fate and changing things for the Fuhrer. I don't know what that means. I don't understand. But it seems like they're trying to cross a threshold. So I wouldn't go that way.
I have a question. Above table out of character.
Then I won't answer in that accent.
No, that's okay. Talking about, like, thresholds and things, does that, like, spark anything to me based on things that I know? Have I, like, read anything or
That's, yeah.
wrote anything?
Well, actually, no. This would actually go all the way back to probably how you first acquired the site.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you advantage on a learning check.
Goody! I got some good dice in that. Like 6 of them. Lord help me make it 1 6 at least. Oh, nice. Okay, 2 6s.
Very good. Very good. Aoife, the mention of Vaesen and thresholds in the same sentence immediately conjures the memory of the woodwife. And the gift, some say gift, some say curse, that she has bestowed on you as part of the experience that you both went through when you were lost. And specifically, it relates to a glimpse at times when you were with this creature of not so much doorways, but openings in the forest to other planes, other worlds, maybe. You never crossed the thresholds yourself, but you were given a glimpse of them.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. How do I respond to this? First of all, when my eyes land on him, you're cute looking. You say,
Don't you mean handsome?
Of course. Whatever word you want to use for, charming. You said, you're not saying that they're trying to get somewhere, would you?
Oh no, or at least they think they can. They're saying something about possessing the blood. And there's something about, they keep mentioning the woman, a name. And this name.
Would it happen?
This name belongs to a woman, maybe.
Would it
but
be a
saying
violet?
Yes, that's correct. It's a Violet, the lady.
Violet Jessup.
Aye, yes, that one. They said that her thread must be cut in order to preserve the Fuhrer.
Interesting. So
something about her being a guardian of an elf. It's difficult to understand. They're speaking in this other language. I have no idea. It could be mother, could be guardian. I'm not sure.
I feel now would be a really good time to say that earlier when we were in the church, I believe, understand some of German.
You're talking to Finn?
I'm talking to everyone. Just saying this aloud.
You learned a new language? That's wonderful.
No, see, that's exactly the thing. I did not.
That's different.
Very much so. Her eyes now landing on Drew, being that particularly the conversations that we have had thus far have been all through my hand and not through my head.
We have the sight. The folks have the sight to be able to see Vaesen, but abilities suddenly appearing. Have I heard anything about that? That would be that? Is it something to note? Is there of course, just trying to see if there's a correlation to what's happening.
Is that something that you were asking in character?
No, I'm asking you.
No,
Sorry.
you.
I'm asking you for Cliff listening to what's happening. Does a human, possessing the sight is one thing to see the Vaesen, but like developing ability, does it happen often? And if not, are there like factors or is there anything that he might know to figure out what this might be?
Cliff, you know that you have a connection with the people from before. Not everyone possesses that. You know that while you also have, every one of you has the sight. It does not always present itself in the same way. And certain skills and abilities seem to be enhanced in different ways as well. So it stands to reason that whatever this is, it is something that is unique to Aoife.
I think Dove stands up and sidles over to Aoife and puts a hand on her arm and says, How are you feeling?
How am I feeling? That's a good question, Andy.
I will, without being slightly ridiculous, I will hurl that question back at you, and I will give it context. In a very short amount of time, you have had to get used to the idea that a place that you once called home has literally been invaded by perhaps some of the evilest human beings on the planet. People who have bizarre ideas about how the world should work. So gone is the Belfast that you love and grew up in. Gone is so much of what made this world comfortable and kind. And now it is harsh and gray and cruel. And while you were perhaps comfortable in sort of having these abilities and sort of like holding them close and sort of learning at your pace, right now, it seems that this gift, in some instances, is choosing in the moment to speed that up. So I'll ask you, how does Aoife feel, or how is Aoife processing these rapid changes, and how is she adapting to this reality?
Okay. Quickly, while I have the mic, Andy, have you addressed that we only have a couple minutes left until Dove? Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure that was acknowledged. Okay. I think a lot of this is moving too fast for her young heart to process, and I do think she is definitely out of sorts. Her chipper nature is kind of a blanket that is covering this feeling of, it's like not dissociation, but like a wooziness. Like for us in modern times, you go on a roller coaster and you get off it and you're like, whoa, not whiplash, but you know what I mean? That kind of nausea. And especially with the smell.
Inner ear imbalance, yeah.
That's it. And especially with the smell of this location, it's not particularly great either. So when you say hurled it back to me, I thought that was a fun little play on words. She could throw up perhaps in this moment. And I think even hearing the German gave her more of that imbalancing feeling that I think too, acknowledging it now out loud to everyone is just, I almost feel like asking her that makes her realize and grounds herself. And maybe that's why she fell behind even. Just everything is moving too fast. Not great, really. But I'm trying. I'm here. I'm trying.
I think the other hand also comes up to the other arm to kind of just, it's a slow rubbing as if trying to warm you. Dove goes, I know you are. For what it's worth, if you were thriving and the sewers under occupation, I would be more worried about you. Honestly, just keep your chin up. We're doing the only thing we can, which is, in this instance, the right thing. Stay with us. And my hand slides down from one of your arms to like interlace my fingers with yours, but it is my non-dominant hand. I don't know if you notice, but Dove's other hand is still cramping from earlier and unable to take yours.
I think there's a moment he's listening to all of this, trying to catch up in his brain with the language. There's a moment of Aoife and Drew gestures, because he doesn't want to get too close because you're with Dove, but Drew sort of gestures to you the hand gesture that is the usual one of when he wants you to be ready for translation. And
she would start to move to take the book out.
Can I try something?
Yeah.
And so what happens is Drew starts to speak in Spanish the way that he usually does. And so he says, La voz que le habla, a la que le da el lenguajes. The translation is actually not him speaking to you. He's speaking to the thing in between. And he basically says, to the thing that is giving her language, to the thing that is giving her speech. If there is something you must tell her, if there is something she must know, tell her now. And that's the only way that Drew can think of making it work, because she would need to connect to the thing that translates him through her.
Aoife,
Yes.
I need you to roll a d6 for me. And on a 6, I will say that it's that whatever he is trying to talk to is the thing that you hope is trying to talk to him or talk through you, the kinder thing. On anything other than a 6, something else might happen.
Guys, we've been
And on
so
a 1,
lucky.
we'll say nothing happens.
We've been so lucky with these rolls today.
Ooh, okay. That's a 4.
Drew, you say all of that. You reach across the space, and Aoife, you're acting almost as a conduit to this being, this whoever is the one who controls the writing, be they kind or be they malevolent. And on a 4, Drew, you hear, and I'll say, Aoife, you hear this as well, but Drew, you feel these words around your throat.
You talk really pretty.
And that is where we will leave it for tonight.
Did that come from Aoife?
I don't have a way of making that voice sound more, I will say, feminine, but
It
I will
doesn't
say
need to.
that it is a balance. It is a balance of your mouth moving and this sound happening.
Yeah, it comes from Aoife. Okay, great. I love that. I mean, I hate it. I mean, I love it. I mean,
Glad I could help.
you're welcome.
Great game, guys. I feel like everybody had these really great moments. I really love just sort of how everyone is sort of falling into this, not only sort of embracing their archetypes, but also just like embracing these people in this sort of messed up, fucked up world we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be, so we are going into next week to continue this journey. Thank you all for watching. Please join us next time as we follow these hunters in these dark places, hopefully finding the light.
Good night. Just kidding. Howdy, I'm Meadow, she, they pronouns. I have been Meadow and will hopefully continue to be Meadow in the future. You can find me all over the internet at Howdy Love Darlin or Howdy Love Darlin GM. I am a professional TTRPG performer, a professional GM, and an indie game designer. I love games of pretend and I love storytelling. So thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait for next time.
Victor.
Hello, everybody. I'm Victor. I also go by Victor the Story Weaver on social media. And there's a few things happening in the future. I don't have anything to promote yet date-wise, but a lot of exciting things. And yeah, singer, songwriter, actor, storyteller. I love storytelling. So I'll see you next time.
Do we want your roommate to introduce themselves as well?
I think it's too busy and too excited doing whatever it is that they're doing. I'll have to
Okay.
try to ask them to join the campaign at some point.
Rachel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Cordell. I am an actress, producer, and storyteller. You can find all of my information at Rachel Cordell at Majora's Rose on Twitch. And you can also check out my own actual play podcast, RP Jesters, wherever podcasts are heard.
Sparrow.
Hi, hello. I am your favorite burb on the interweb, A Black Sparrow. Pronouns are he, him. You can find me at A Black Sparrow on all the relevant socials and also at Feywild and Out, where we are Crit Award winning TTRPG channel focusing on BIPOC stories.
CB.
Yeah, hello. My name is Omega Jones, also known as Critbot across all social media channels. My pronouns are he and they. I'm a professional actor and vocalist. I've been connected with Critical Role doing music, Wizards of the Coast doing shows on TV, and I am a founding member of Oops All Himbos, which is an all himbo TTRPG collective trying to do some good and combat toxic masculinity in this space. I do too much, so just look at my socials to see what's happening next.
And, of course, I'm your storyteller in the shadows, Andy, a.k.a. Mr. Dandy DM, and you can find me on all the relevant socials, but for a lot of my work, you can find me on YouTube at Mr. Dandy DM for the actual plays that I run. I want to say a big thank you to Moz for allowing us to tell this story on her channel. They're amazing. Please stay tuned for all of the future stories that they are going to be telling. Thank you to everyone who has watched this episode, and we will see you again very soon.